But it really don't matter, we still let them in.
What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Westside Izzy P. This is Westside Sports, where we talk nothing but sports, mostly football. And with football season now over with the Super Bowl here and gone, with Kansas City going back to back, it's now time to shift our focus, and it's now time to look ahead at what next season could look like. And the best way that we can start doing that is by looking at free agency and looking at the draft. And there's a lot of questions when it comes to free agency, when it comes to the draft, when it comes to who's going to go where and what are teams looking for and who are teams going to be looking at before said draft, how they're going to fix certain spots, who they're going to pick up, who are they going to re-sign, who are they going to let go. There's a lot to discuss. But today, we're going to focus in on one team right now, and we're going to focus in on one quarterback who's in a little bit of a sticky situation right now. And that person right now is none other than Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. And the question that's on everybody's mind is, what is Chicago going to do with Justin Fields, and what are they going to do with that #1 overall pick in the draft? But before we get to that, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hey, do me a favor. Like the video. So hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below, man. Let me know who you guys want to talk about. Let me know where we should go, and let's help build this thing. Let's get this thing going in the right direction. We're trying to build this thing up from the ground up. Let's build a community, baby. But anywho, I love that. I love that. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Justin Fields is in a bit of a sticky situation, and it's not even his fault. The Chicago Bears have the #1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft by way of the Carolina Panthers giving up their first round pick in the draft from last year's trade when they traded up to grab Bryce Young and when they sent DJ Moore over to Chicago. And the question that a lot of people have on their mind is, what does Chicago do now with Justin Fields? And where does Justin Fields go if he is traded? Let's take a look at the stats. Let's see exactly where Justin Fields is at. So I looked at all 3 years that he's played. In 2021, he threw for 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He threw for 1,870 yards. He had a 31.4 QBR and a 73.2 rating. Rushing-wise, he rushed for about 420 yards with just 2 touchdowns to his name. In 2022, he had a better year. Threw for 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 56.3 QBR, 85.2 rating. He threw for 2,242 yards. And rushing-wise, this was his best year rushing. He rushed for over 1,000 yards, 1,143 yards, with 8 touchdowns to his name. And in 2023, he threw for more yards, 2,562 yards, 16 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, a 46.1 QBR, 86.3 rating, and he rushed for over 500 yards, 657 yards to be exact, with only 4 touchdowns to his name. Now, you can tell by those numbers, they're a little bit low, and the reason for that is because each season, he did not play a full season. In 2021, his rookie year, he only played 12 games. In 2022, he only played 15 games. And in 2023, he played 13 games. So, on average, he's playing about 12 and a half to 13 games. And if you want to look at it in a way of like being a big sample size or whatnot, that's a pretty healthy sample size. But if you look at the situation that Justin Fields was in, Adam Gase was the head coach. He didn't really have a lot of help on the outside. He pretty much was trying to make things happen on his own. And he showed flashes, but he also showed some inconsistencies as a quarterback for Chicago. And it puts Chicago in this position of like, where do they go quarterback-wise heading into the offseason? You got Justin Fields, who's heading into his 4th year. But also you got the #1 overall pick. And with new management, there's discussion that they could either trade that #1 pick, but it's going to be a hefty haul that someone is going to have to give up for the #1 pick. Or they could trade, or they could go ahead and draft a new franchise quarterback for the team and go for a guy like Caleb Williams, who has said he rather would go to a team like Washington or elsewhere. He wouldn't want to go to Chicago, which is silly if you ask me. You can go for Drake May, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr. There's a lot of options out there in the draft this year alone because it's quarterback heavy, to say the least. My question is, though, with the Chicago Bears and with Justin Fields, would you want to start over again? And my question is, though, what would be the aim if you guys go after a quarterback in the draft? Are you guys expecting to hit on a CJ Stroud-esque type of pick where he just picks up the offense and he gets rolling and he has a career, he has a year like what CJ Stroud had, what was like 21 or 26 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions? You know, his first Pro Bowl as a rookie, Offensive Rookie of the Year award, NFL honors. Like, could that be the aim that you guys are looking for? Or would you rather keep Justin, have DJ Moore on his outside as the wide receiver 1, and then possibly pick up another guy in the draft, maybe a Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, who he could build that rapport up real quickly with, and then just build and pick up other pieces to try and help Justin stabilize himself as what could be your quarterback of the future? Because if you look, again, the 2023 stats, 2,562 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. That's his best statistical year, but granted, it's only 13 games. So the first thing you would want to do is you would want to protect Justin Fields. You would want to make sure that he is not getting hit, he's not getting harassed as much, that he is able to stand in the pocket, get his reads, and get the ball to the right person. And not only that, if he needs to run, make sure you have the adequate protection to, like, you know, give him the clear running space so that he can make something happen for you on the ground. Because again, like 2022, 1,100 yards on the ground, 2023, 600 yards on the ground. You don't want him to be all, you're not looking for him to be like a Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes, but he has the ability to do such that and more. So I look at Justin Fields and I kind of have to feel for the guy. I have to feel for him because, like, he's been put in a position where he doesn't know where he's going to end up. And let's say Chicago does decide to trade him. Where does he go? And, you know, I've had discussions about Justin and where he could potentially be traded off to. I mean, he could be possibly head back to Atlanta. You know, he could possibly come back home to Georgia and play for the Falcons because he does have family out here. So this would be kind of a homecoming. He would, not Arthur Smith, Raheem Morris, the new head coach, could possibly make something happen with him. You have the Minnesota Vikings, the Kirk Cousins situation. I would think Kirk Cousins would stay in Minnesota, but just in case Kirk Cousins does decide to go elsewhere in free agency and signs with another team, Minnesota could use a upgrade at quarterback, and I think Justin Fields could benefit from having a wide receiver tandem of KJ Osborne and Justin Jefferson, and having Madison in the backfield and with that offensive line, you know, having a little bit more stability in the offense and having a little bit more stability in the building, that could help out Justin as well. Possibly Washington, you got a brand new head coach, you got a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new management. Granted, they have the number 2 pick in the draft, but, you know, if they decide, you know, Justin's worth the risk, pick him up and then probably get some more pieces to build around him as well. Or they could possibly use that pick, the number 2 pick, to help rebuild that defense because, you know, letting go of Montez Sweat and Chase Young, that does leave some holes that you need to plug on, especially on the defensive line. But overall, with Justin Fields, I look at this situation as if I'm management for Chicago, I'm doing everything I can to reassure Justin that we have faith in him and that we're going to try and build around him and run it back for one more year. We'll get him the pieces that he needs, whether it be free agency or in the draft, and let him, you know, build and grow into the system that we know he could be successful in. But Chicago could also go the route, again, of picking a guy up in the draft and going that route and trading Justin away. And, you know, if I'm a Chicago fan, if I'm a Bears fan, I would love to see Justin Field have one more go around, get him some pieces, and let him try to, like, make something happen, because it looked like the Bears were trending in the right direction. Yeah, they had a bit of a lull to start out the season, but they picked it up and they only went 7-10. So there's the ability to improve on this season alone. Yet all signs and all things are pointing out to the fact that the Bears could end up trading Justin, and Justin could get a brand new lease on life elsewhere. If that does happen, I would love to see Raheem Morris and company in Atlanta bring him into the fold. Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson. Like, they have a solid young offensive unit that they could build around Justin, put him in, install that new offense, and just let him have his way. I mean, they tried it with Tyler Heineke. They tried it with I'm blanking on who the quarterback was. That's how bad it was for Atlanta. Like, they thought they had the guy, and it didn't really pan out well. I don't even remember the other guy. All I know is Taylor Heineke, and that was from his time in Washington. So that goes to show you how that's played out with Atlanta and their quarterback situation. So if I'm Justin, I'm either looking to stay and have the team pick up a wide receiver or pick up somebody on the line that could help me out. Or if they're going to trade me, I know I may not have some say, but hope that they send me to Atlanta and just go ahead and build from there. But yeah, it's a sticky situation for Justin Fields in Chicago all the way through. But other than that, though, I want to see Justin succeed. As an Ohio State Buckeye fan, I would love to see him have a career, a successful one at that, and just make something happen out of a weird situation that he's in right now. So, Justin, here's to you, buddy. Hope everything turns out well, and we'll be rooting for you wherever you go. But, yeah, Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears, got to make a decision at quarterback and see exactly what happens with him. But let me know what y'all think about this whole entire situation with Justin Fields. And let me know what y'all think if Chicago is going to keep him or if they're going to trade him away. And if they do trade him away, where do you think where are you going to send him off to? Who do you think picks him up, and how do you think he fares in his new place? But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It's your boy, Westside Izzy P in the building. You are locked into Westside Sports. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think, and I will catch y'all later on. Peace.
Back at the cove, they run it again. They wanna call it demonic events, but it really don't matter. We still let them in.